So, Victor, the left, let's talk about them. I know that you're currently working on an article about the left as middle class and representative of middle class, or maybe not. And so I'll go with that first, and then maybe we can look at some of the communist socialist questions with the left.
I think I'm gonna title it "The Left Wing's Search for the Aborigine White Working Class Male." And just to preface it, as the Democratic Party in the post-JFK period went left, 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 and it started to lose the white working class. For example, in 2024, those who were white, male or female, but did not have a college education were still 40% of the electorate. And they were overrepresented of that 40% by because they registered and voted in more greater frequency than other groups. So of that group, Trump won 66%. And what that means to the Democratic Party, and this has been going on, they have no margin of error when they lose that great of a demographic. So they have to pander, pander, pander to the DEI. So the black, 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 BLM, BLM, blah, 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 blah. La Raza, La Raza, La Raza, open borders, and then that only further, that 66% used to be 52, 58, each election it goes up. So they're in a doom loop. So they've decided that they've got to come up with a Bill Clinton solution. And that is, how do you win back 50%? They'll never get over 50%. And they're losing them because their agenda, they won't change. We love illegal immigrants. We want open borders. We're going to have a new democratic majority. Demography is destiny. No cash bail. Trans everywhere. You know, abortion to the moment of birth. New Green Deal, Green New Deal, war on fossil fuel. All of those are 3070 issues. So they don't want to change the issues. They just won't do it. And they know they have to. So they came up with another solution. It's an old solution. Let's find working white class male candidates. But there are none really that are genuine, that want that agenda or want to hang out with them. Remember, these people they're not. They talk about oligarchs and billionaires. This is the party of oligarchs and billionaires. I'm talking about their donor class. Who are their donor class that funds all this left wing? It's Melinda Gates, the bitter divorced wife that's worth $100 billion. It's Mackenzie, is that her name? Bezos, who was dumped, also embittered. She's got 75 or $80 billion, and she's a big left-wing donor. And then there was Jeffrey Epstein. He was a big donor. There was, of course, Bill Gates. There were the Soros manifestations, all of their secret little funds. There was this nut in China, Neville Singman. There was our friend, my neighbor for a while at campus, um, Bankman Fried. He was a big donor, the biggest in the midterms a few years ago. And so they have all, and then there's Lisa Jobs, another widow, and the money is all predictable. It's either they inherited it from their husband in a divorce, or he died. That's Lisa Jobs, or divorces the former Mrs. Gates and the former Mrs. Bezos. So they didn't create the money themselves. And when you look at Singman, or you look at Epstein or Bankman Fried or Reid Hoffman, it's not like they're building rockets or Teslas, or they're bringing products to your doorstep like Amazon. They're all into finance, crypto, investment. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they're a different. It's a different type of wealth than farming, mining, construction, invention. So they're a very wealthy party, and these new socialists that have joined it are very wealthy. Andrew Stiles, who's a very effective writer for the Beacon, the Free Beacon. He has a whole story today, and it's trust fund socialist, he calls them. And he looks at all of them, and it's Mondame. He was very wealthy. He has an estate. His family has a estate on Lake Victoria where he was married. Highly reinforced security, 2-acre estate as that settler colonial family.
Yeah, do you think that's where he's gonna abscond to as soon as he's done every communist thing he can?
His Indian Ghana community, as I keep saying, is 1% and controls 60% of the wealth, and no one says a word. And then when you look at Graham Plattner, went to prep school, prep school at Hotchkiss, subsidized by his parents. And then you look at AOC, upper middle class, keeps talking about eat the rich and all this stuff. So the socialist candidates, they're either in graduate school or law school, or they got subsidies, or they're recent immigrants that were subsidized, but they're all well off. And the donors are the billionaire class. And so they have a problem. The, the white working class looks at these people and says, "You're wealthy. Mondame, you sound like a spoiled brat. Plattner, we don't buy your stick." So what the left is doing is we've got to, and this is how they got in trouble. They had this, was it Morris Katz and this other guy that were their finders of fake middle class candidates, and that guy goes, "And then we we looked at Platter, and, and he was offended. Did you vet him? Well, kind of. I mean, they were incompetent. It's not like they have James Carville or Mark Penn or Doug Schoen, the old guys that won the elections. These people are or Mark Halpern, those type of guys. They're experts or professionals. I don't get along. I don't agree with Carville, but I give him his due. He's smart. And so I like Mark Penn. I like Mark Halpern. I like Doug Schoen. They're all professionals. But that's not who they're listening to. They're listening to these little Nepo babies, and they know nothing. So now their solution is, well, if we're all wealthy and the wealthy class funds us, and we like wealthy socialists, and we never said a word about Pelosi cashing in. So we need fake working class people because there's none that are genuine. So and then they think, well, when we went left, we couldn't nominate a Democratic candidate from the North because they lost. So we had LBJ, his draw, he won. And then we went to Humphrey, he was a Northern liberal, he lost. So then we thought, well, that was an outlier. We'll get McGovern, a North Dakota Northern liberal. And he lost in 72. So then they said, we're not going to do this anymore. We got to go back to LBJ. Oh, I'm Jimmy Carter. So that worked. And then he lost the second time with Reagan. And then they said, well, he lost it. We're going to go to Mondale. And he lost in 84. So then they said, well, we got to have and they put in Mike Dukakis. And he lost. And then guys like Schoen and Penn and all those guys said, I told you, you can't double down on left-wing extremism from a bunch of Northern do-gooders. You need Southern boys to do your bidding. And so they got Bill Clinton. And he won twice with the help of Ross Perot, who took away a lot of the vote from George Bush and Bob Dole.